In the following scene, Patrick can be seen being interrogated by one of the strangers inside a car. The stranger inquires with Patrick about his remaining friends, but Patrick refuses to tell him anything. Enraged, the stranger takes out pliers and threatens to pull out Patrick's teeth one by one if he does not talk about his friends. Patrick still doesn't budge, and the stranger is forced to pull out one tooth. As he prepares to pull out another, a helpless Patrick reveals the location of his group, telling them everything about how they have access to the bunkers of Apollon. On the other hand, unbeknownst to Patrick being forced out of the bunker by Martin, Leah, and Simone, pack some necessary items from the bunker and get ready to leave while Martin freshens up. Soon, while looking around the bunker, Leah approaches Martin and tells him that Patrick is nowhere to be found. Hearing this, Martin informs her that he threw Patrick out of their group after he tried to kill Simone the previous day. Just then, someone bangs their bunker from outside and yells for help. Martin steps out and finds Rasmus carrying the dead body of Beatrice. Martin thinks that he is also infected and tries to stop him. However, seeing Beatrice in this condition, he becomes emotional and allows Rasmus to take her inside the bunker's lab. Meanwhile, Simone approaches her brother and asks about what has happened. Rasmus tells her that a dog came near to them and licked Beatrice. Afraid, Simone requests Rasmus to leave Beatrice and come out of the lab room. He refuses and chooses to stay with her. In the meantime, Martin arrives there and closes the lab door. He then walks away, paying no attention to Rasmus's yells to save Beatrice. Moments later, Simone again enters the lab room, wearing a hazmat suit, and asks Rasmus to leave Beatrice and come out with them. However, Rasmus, who is adamant on his decision, tells Simone that he wants to die with Beatrice. Simone tries her best to make Rasmus understand that he is making a mistake, but fails. A while later, Simone gives up and walks out of the lab room. Surprisingly, Rasmus also grows tired of the situation, and after leaving Beatrice on the floor, he heads out, carrying a walkie-talkie. In the next scene, Leah does not find Rasmus inside the lab room and calls Simone to search for him. After not finding him anywhere, Simone suggests that she will go to look after him while Martin and Leah stay together inside the bunker. Following this, the scene flashes back to the time where a bunch of strangers are kept inside a quarantine facility. The head of Apollon, Sten, informs them that the capsule they took earlier contained a virus, which has the ability to kill anyone instantly after they step out of the quarantine areas. After the end of their brief session, one of the strangers attempts to run away from the basement. However, as soon as he exits the quarantine zone, he gets killed by the virus. At present, Rasmus walks out of the bunker and with his walkie-talkie. He asks the strangers to come get him. Hearing Rasmus's voice, Patrick, who is shocked that he is still alive, informs the strangers that he had seen Rasmus carrying an infected girl earlier. This surprises the group, and they make their way towards Rasmus, believing that they have finally found the antidote to the virus. On the other hand, Simone flies a drone and spots the location of Rasmus and the strangers. Meanwhile, Leah and Martin prepare to bury the dead body of Beatrice and express their condolences to her. While they are doing so, Simone also arrives there and helps them bury Beatrice. Later, the group decides to save Rasmus and plans to attack one of the strangers, who is guarding alone. Hearing an unusual sound, the guard approaches the place and gets captured by Martin and his crew. Soon, Martin calls the head of the strangers' group, Thomas, and informs him that one of his crew members has been captured. He then suggests they exchange their group members the following day. The next day, Simone again calls the leader and informs him to be on time. However, when she talks with Rasmus, he does not comply and refuses to join them. He also continuously keeps on saying that he wants to die. Hearing this, Simone asks Thomas to meet with her alone, and he agrees. In the following scene, Simone meets with Thomas in the woods and asks about Rasmus. Thomas tells her that Rasmus is immune and can save the world from the virus. Hearing this, Simone inquires about how they are planning to use Rasmus. Thomas replies that they will inject the virus into Rasmus and observe the progress. Right then, Martin brings the stranger whom they captured earlier and asks Thomas to bring Rasmus. Having no other option left, Thomas is compelled to bring Rasmus and exchange him with his man. As soon as Rasmus reaches the other side and unites with his sister, Simone yells at him and asks him to join them. Enraged, Rasmus steals the Apollon syringe from Leah's hand and injects himself with the virus, making himself suffer and fall to the ground. This stuns everyone, but they can't do anything to save him. Surprisingly, while the group thinks that Rasmus is dead, he wakes up and starts walking, proving that he is immune to the disease, and allowing everyone to take a sigh of relief. Following this, Martin visits Patrick in the house, where he is being kept by the strangers and releases him. He also forgives Patrick for his mistakes and the two reconcile. Eventually, the whole group and the strangers except one decides to head towards the Apollon headquarters. Before leaving, the stranger who is staying back kisses Rasmus on his forehead. Moments after the group leaves, the stranger becomes infected by the virus and dies on the spot. After driving for a fair bit of time, the group arrives at the Apollon headquarters. Rasmus and Simone are taken to a room while the rest of the group is asked to wait inside a bunker. Shortly after, Simone and Rasmus meet their father, Frederick. Simone becomes enraged seeing him and asks why he didn't come back for them. But before Frederick can answer, Rasmus feels dizzy and falls to the floor unconscious. Witnessing this, Frederick orders his doctors to take Rasmus to the operating room and asks Simone to wait for him outside. In the next scene, Frederick approaches Simone and apologizes to her. When Simone asks why he didn't look after them, he looks at a CCTV camera and suggests Simone to be quiet. Elsewhere, inside the bunker, Leah finds Jean's jacket and searches for him inside the bunker. After a while, she finally finds him taking a shower inside one of the bathrooms. She becomes very happy to see him alive and the two hug each other. Soon, Jean reunites with the rest of the team and explains his experience of living in the bunker. While the group is talking, an Apollon employee enters the bunker and provides them with some capsules, claiming that they are nutritional supplements. However, Martin feels suspicious about it and asks the employee to take one first. The woman obliges, and after she eats the capsule, Martin and his team follow suit. In the following scene, Frederick takes Simone to see Rasmus from outside the medical room. When Simone tries to enter, Frederick stops her and tells her that he cannot let her go inside, as he wants to protect his family at any cost. In the meantime, the scene flashes back in time where Frederick visits Rasmus and Simone in the bunker one night. Before anyone can notice him, he seals the bunker, claiming to his colleague that the people inside are all dead. In the present, at Apollon headquarters, one of the doctors visits Rasmus and tries to take a sample of his swab. When Rasmus refuses to provide the swab and insists on meeting his father, the doctor starts forcing him. This annoys Rasmus, and he bites her hand in anger. At the same time, Simone makes a call to the bunker and speaks with Martin, who is still awake despite it being late at night. This time, Martin tries to confess his love, but unfortunately, Frederick arrives there, compelling Simone to cut the call short. Frederick suggests Simone and Rasmus leave the building, as the cure of the virus is very dangerous, and he also thinks that Rasmus will not survive the rigorous process of making an antidote from his body. The scene again flashes back in time, where Frederick's colleague finds out that Frederick is hiding his family in the bunker and trying to protect them. He also assumes that Rasmus is immune to the virus, and that he can be used to create its antidote. After saying this, Frederick's colleague stands up and prepares to go to the bunker to retrieve Rasmus. Desperate to save his children, Frederick kills his colleague by smashing his head with a tool. Back in the present, when Frederick goes to the medical room to check on his son, he finds the doctor who forced Rasmus dead because of the virus. Frederick then takes a swab from Rasmus and immediately inspects it under a microscope. The whole Apollon facility completely shuts down and goes into lockdown after finding contamination of the virus in their lab. Hearing the emergency siren, Martin and the rest of the group inside the bunker try to make their way out, but fail. Right then, Frederick speaks with the head of the company, Stan, who suggests he prepare Rasmus for an operation. After the call, Frederick meets with Simone and tells her everything, including that Rasmus is carrying the virus and is contagious. He then suggests she leave the place as soon as possible. After this, Simone calls Martin and provides him with some ways to open the door of the locked bunker. She suggests they decrease the oxygen level in the bunker, causing the entrance door to open by itself. At first, Simone goes to rescue Rasmus, and later, the whole group reunites outside the bunker and heads toward the parking area. While they are making their way to one of the strangers' cars, Frederick arrives there and threatens to shoot Rasmus if they don't leave him behind. Hearing this, Martin steps between the father-son duo and tries to stop Frederick from shooting Rasmus. Enraged, Frederick shoots at Martin, but before he can cause any more damage, Simone approaches him and pushes him away. In the meantime, Patrick brings one of the strangers' cars, and the whole group drives away from the place. Later, the group arrives at a wall-like entrance where they meet Thomas, who tells them that the supplementary nutrition they took contains a lot of nanocapsules that will release the virus inside their body as soon as they step out of the facility area. After knowing that Simone and Rasmus have not taken the pills, the group tells them to drive away from there without the rest of them. However, Simone doesn't want to leave her friends alone and decides to stay with them. Later, the group backs away from the wall and decides to stay in the area. In the last scene, Sten can be seen conducting a meeting with the investors. He explains to them that the virus that his company created can be weaponized for various purposes. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on the notification, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thanks for watching.